The body is always communicating with us. And oftentimes, the way it speaks is through what we label symptoms. And when we can understand that those symptoms, right, are prompts for change rather than punishment, it really allows us to take stock of a situation that we're in and make the correct changes. Let me share a quick story. Right, we got a 2-year-old who, for the last couple of weeks, has not been sleeping. Waking from 1 to 3 or even 4 in the morning almost every night. That's resulted in me drinking more coffee than I usually do. And it's resulted in me doing less exercise than I usually do. I've got a pretty high workload at the moment, and I've started to notice I'm feeling a little bit anxious. Do I have anxiety, right? Or am I not meeting the basic demands and needs of my body because I'm underslept, I'm overcaffeinated, I'm not physically expressing my body, I don't have an outlet, and there is some additional work pressure, right? I don't have anxiety. My body is prompting me that we need to make some changes, right? And so instead of seeing these symptoms, right, as a pathology or a punishment, I can look at them as a prompt. And I can think, today maybe I cut back on the coffee. I schedule in some time this afternoon to do some movement or take a nap or schedule an NSDR to try and recharge my batteries, right? When I do that, the symptoms that I'm experiencing are going to reduce or even be eliminated, right? Did I cure my anxiety? No, I didn't have anxiety in the first place. But so often we pathologize the symptoms that we're experiencing as something is wrong rather than my body is prompting me for change. So if you're someone that experiences anxiety, I would encourage you to maybe take stock of the situation that you're in. Am I moving? Am I sleeping? Do I have good social connection and engagement? Do I feel like I have purpose? Am I spending time in nature? Am I getting enough sunlight at the appropriate times of day? Is my nutrition dialed in? Am I hydrated, right? When we look at the inputs to the system rather than the outputs of the system, right? And let me explain that another way. Outputs, symptoms, right, are the end result of how a system works. Inputs, right, the things that I'm doing, my behaviors, my environment, determine how well the system works. We are stuck managing outputs, right? My anxiety, my pain, my fatigue, my lack of energy, my distraction, my lack of focus, my inability to learn, whatever these are, right? These are outputs. And you can get stuck trying to manage or change these outputs when what you need to be doing is looking at the inputs, right? Because the way that a system works is inputs, processes, outputs. And so when I start to change the inputs, things like my sleep, my movement, my nutrition, my hydration, my time in nature, my time in social engagement and connection, the processes change, the outputs are different, right? And so if I was to look at the symptoms I've been experiencing of anxiety and pathologize that and say, I have anxiety, right? I'm not going to be aware of what inputs I need to change, right? For myself in this example is I need to stop drinking as much coffee, I need to prioritize some rest, and I need to reprioritize some movement. When I do that, the processes are going to change, the outputs are going to be different, right? I will no longer be experiencing anxiety because I've listened to the signals from my body. This is the complete opposite of the way that we manage most problems today, right? We look at a set of symptoms, outputs, we diagnose a problem, and then we base our treatment on that diagnosis. It's pretty stupid when you think of it like that. If we can instead see the symptoms as a signal, as a prompt, right, as a message from the body to say, hey, we're out of balance, we're doing some things wrong, we need to reorient to the inputs, we need to change our behaviors, we need to stop doing some things, start doing other things. It puts us back into the control seat, the driver's seat, and it allows us to have far more influence over how we're feeling, right, and our experience on a day-to-day basis. So I just wanted to kind of jump in and share this perspective. If you're going through a period where you're feeling anxious, you're lacking energy, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling down or depressed, don't pathologize yourself and say, I have some condition before you address the inputs to your system, right? Look at these basic expectations that your body has. Things like movement or exercise, nutrition, hydration, sleep, right? Not overstimulating yourself, coffee, right? Not over depressing yourself, alcohol, right? Ensuring that you're spending enough time in social connection, whether that's with friends, family, a pet, doesn't matter. Are you getting the appropriate amount of sunlight at the right time of day, right? All these things have a far greater impact on how you feel than getting a prescription for some medication because you have the symptoms of anxiety or the symptoms of depression, right? When you look at it like this, the tools that are available to you are very different, and the results that you'll get or the outcomes that you'll see will also be very different.